Welcome to English with Podcast, your go-to channel for fun and practical English learning. I'm Sarah, and today we're taking off on a linguistic journey through the airport.
And I'm Mike, your co-pilot on this adventure. Fasten your seatbelts because we're about to taxi down the runway of airport vocabulary.
But before we take off, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more English learning content that'll make your language skills soar. Welcome, everyone, to Fly High with English, Airport Vocabulary Edition. I'm Sarah, a former flight attendant turned English teacher.
And I'm Mike, a retired air traffic controller with a passion for languages. Today, we're going to walk you through the airport, from check-in to boarding, and teach you all the essential vocabulary you need to navigate any airport in the English-speaking world.
That's right, Mike. By the end of this podcast, our listeners will be able to breeze through the airport like seasoned travelers. Are you ready to begin our journey?
Absolutely, Sarah. Let's start at the beginning, the check-in process.
Perfect. So, when you first enter the airport, you'll need to find the check-in counter. This is where you'll get your boarding pass and drop off any checked luggage.
Good point, Sarah. Let's break down some key vocabulary here. First, we have check-in counter. Can you explain what that is?
Sure. The check-in counter is the desk where airline staff process your ticket, check your identification, and issue your boarding pass. It's usually your first stop in the airport unless you've already checked in online.
Excellent. And what about boarding pass?
A boarding pass is a document that allows you to board the plane. It contains important information like your name, flight number, departure time, and seat number.
Don't forget about checked luggage, Sarah. That's an important term too.
Absolutely. Checked luggage refers to the bags that are too large to carry onto the plane. These are stored in the cargo hold of the aircraft.
Great explanation, Sarah. Now, once you've checked in, you'll need to go through security. This can be a bit stressful for some travelers. Let's discuss some key vocabulary for this area.
Good idea, Mike. The first thing you'll encounter is the security checkpoint. This is where your carry-on bags are scanned, and you walk through a metal detector or body scanner.
Right. You'll need to place your belongings in trays that go through an X-ray machine. Remember to take out your liquids and electronics.
Speaking of liquids, there's an important rule to remember. All liquids must be in containers of 3.4 ounces, 100 milliliters, or less. And they must all fit in a single, clear, quart-sized bag. This is often called the 3-1-1 rule.
Excellent point, Sarah. After security, you'll enter the departure area, which is also known as the terminal or concourse. This is where you'll find your gate.
That's right, Mike. The gate is the area where you wait to board your flight. It usually has a seating area and a desk for airline staff.
Don't forget about the departure board, Sarah. That's a crucial piece of information in the terminal.
Oh, yes. The departure board is a large screen that displays flight information, including departure times, gate numbers, and any delays or cancellations.
Now, let's talk about some of the amenities you might find in the terminal. Sarah, what are some common facilities travelers might use while waiting for their flight?
Great question, Mike. You'll often find duty-free shops which sell items like perfume, alcohol, and chocolates without certain taxes. There are also newsstands for magazines and snacks, and various restaurants and cafes.
Don't forget about the currency exchange for international travelers and the ever-important restrooms.
Absolutely. And for those long layovers, some airports even have lounges where you can relax, work, or freshen up.
Good point. Now, as your departure time approaches, you'll hear announcements about boarding. Sarah, can you walk us through some boarding vocabulary?
Of course. First, you might hear a pre-boarding announcement for passengers who need extra assistance. Then, most airlines board by zones or groups. You'll hear something like, now boarding zone 1 inch or group A. Please proceed to the gate.
Right. And when it's your turn, you'll approach the gate agent who will scan your boarding pass. Then you'll walk down the jet bridge or air bridge to enter the plane.
Exactly. And once on board, you'll need to find your seat and stow your carry-on luggage in the overhead bin or under the seat in front of you.
Great job, Sarah. We've covered a lot of ground. Or should I say, air.
Nice one, Mike. Before we land this episode, let's do a quick recap of the key vocabulary we've covered.
Sounds good. We talked about the check-in counter, boarding pass, and checked luggage.
Then we moved on to the security checkpoint, X-ray machine, and the 3-1-1 rule for liquids.
In the terminal, we discussed the departure board, gates, and various amenities like duty-free shops and lounges.
And finally, we covered the boarding process, including zones, the jet bridge, and stowing carry-on luggage.
Fantastic. I think our listeners are now well equipped to navigate any airport using English.
Absolutely, Mike. Remember, practice makes perfect. So, the next time you're at the airport, try using these terms. Don't be afraid to ask airport staff for help. It's a great way to practice your English in a real-world situation.
That's great advice, Sarah. Well, it looks like we're approaching our final destination for this episode.
You're right, Mike. To all our listeners, we hope you enjoyed this journey through airport vocabulary. And remember to check out our website for a full list of the terms we covered today, along with example sentences and exercises.
And don't forget to subscribe to English with Podcast on YouTube for more episodes that will help your English skills take flight.
Thanks for listening, everyone. This is Sarah.
And Mike.
Wishing you safe travels and happy learning.